Welcome to the Act Out Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Tomlin. Today's guest has wanted to be in radio since he was in high school, and he's crushing it. Not only on the airwaves, but also in the podcasting world as well. Give it up for my friend, Arrington Gavin, the host of The Arrington Gavin Show. Let's roll the tape.
Growing up, I've always had a love for talk shows, talk radio, conversations, all that good stuff. So like the older I got, it was time to graduate, high school. What do you want to pursue? What do you want to do for, in college? I want to do something in radio broadcast. I want to do something in radio and, visit different universities. So I'm like, okay, I guess it's going to be a mass communication, but I never knew what questions to ask. I'm like, hey, do you have a radio station? Do you have a college radio station? And few of them, a lot of them that I visited had some, but the ones that accepted me was, which was one, by the way, the way the grades were back in the day. I went to a small school and they did not have one. So I ended up changing my major to health and wellness, which that was another passion. I'm like, okay, maybe let me pursue athletic training.
Yeah.
I was into sports. I was into like staying in shape and stuff like that at the time. Right now, it's just, I'm not barely, trying to look good in a suit. Now I'm trying to look good in a suit. And so, fast forward, pandemic year happened and I had graduated with a degree in health and wellness. I had worked part-time in physical therapy, and I also already had started my own business. I graduated as a business owner. I started my business.
Okay.
I started working on my business plan my sophomore year in college. And then when I graduated August of 2017, I launched my business, which was primarily just a beard care. So I had beard oils, beard balms.
Your beard looks very ruggedly evolved, my friend.
I try. I really do. I started that in August of 2017.
How did you get that idea?
Oh, okay. So, so I was a private school kid for the most part of my upbringing, and the school that I attended, a local private school in this city, by the way. I'm not going to shout them out. I'm not going to, because what I'm going to say is not nice, but I love them to death. I know. But at the time, they had a no facial hair policy, and they had other, strict rules. Again, private Christian school, they was very conservative too. No facial hair policy. But I was the minority in my class, so I had a bunch of my classmates. I'm like, look, they could go ahead and shave. My skin works different compared to that, and I'm like, it's no disrespect, but I'm like, I can't do it. So, luckily I had a dermatologist note, which I had to, I hate that I had to do with that, but I had to go get a dermatologist note, and they were cool with me having just a little bit of stubble. Cause if they saw facial hair, they're sending us to the nurse's office. We're doing like a dry shave. I'm like, are you kidding me? And, so fast forward, and I started growing my facial hair, by the way, at 14. I was I was young. I was
you must
young.
have hit puberty at like
it was, but you know what? I started going bald very early too.
Same, man.
Hence why the hat stays on, my friend.
Exactly, yeah. And King Griffey Jr. wore his hat back.
There you go. There you go. Shout out to King Griffey, by the way, man. And then when I graduated high school, man, I went to college kind of like feeling like a rebel. Like, I'm going to grow out my facial hair. I'm going to grow out my hair, because who are they to say I can't grow it out? Because what I've noticed is at that period, and why it was a rule in like corporate America, because that was the message they were always pushing, is like, okay, you got to be, polished and this and that and the other in life and in the world. And corporate America says, okay, if they see facial hair, if you got to interview, make sure you shave. It was always seen as unprofessionalism. Yeah. And I was always that kid that wanted to change the narrative, whether it was like, don't judge a book by its cover kind of thing. So I grew up my facial hair. I grew up my hair that I did have back in the day. All right. And my freshman year, grew it out, but not having the understanding of beard maintenance and facial hair care maintenance. I was still big on my appearance, but I'm like, man, this is not right. I started, itchy irritation. I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing it good or if it looks right. So my sophomore year, I started doing my own research, and I started buying all the products, thinking I knew what I was doing. Wasn't capitalizing it. And I was a college kid, no job, so I'm spending all my money, my weekend money when the fun happened. I'm spending all my money left and right, and I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna create my own. And when I had free time, I looked up different all the 50 essential oils. I looked up the purpose of why this is a good one. This is a good one. I read when it came to like hair follicles and this and that. I just did my own research, and fast forward to that in that sophomore year period, I started just buying a lot of different ingredients, and I will visit my folks' home because I was maybe like an hour, 2 hours away. Weekends, I'll visit them, and I'll be in the kitchen making products and stuff. And so when I come back to school, I'll have extras, and I have friends that was also new to the beard care community. And, I can say, hey, look, have it. I'm not, selling or anything. Just, just take it. I got some extras. Receive great reviews. And I'm like, I'll put that on the back of my head, because my parents were also entrepreneurs, and I knew I was going to do something entrepreneur-ish, but I just never knew what avenue it was going to lead me to. And so, I end up saying, you know what? I'm walking around campus. I see a bunch of fellas with, beards, mustaches, goatees, all different types of hair styles, facial hairstyles, that is. And one evening I was watching the Golden Globes, and I realized I'm like 90% of the male presenters all had beards. So I'm like, okay, is this a movement? Is this a trend? Anyway, I see they're all rocking them, so it must be something that they're pursuing. So I reached out to my parents and I said, look, I'm thinking I want to start my own business. I really do. I think it's going to be a beard care line. In that time, I didn't even have the name. I just said it's going to be, catered to beards, whether it's, beard oils, beard balms, maybe even create a beard wash. I said, that's what I'm going to do. And sophomore year, I'm, doodling. I'm a note taker like crazy. I love just writing down, doodling and stuff. So I'm writing down names of different scents and just titles, what I'm going to call it, X, Y, and Z. And from there, it was created Rugged Evolution, and it was created because you start off with something rugged, and after using our products, you see the evolvement. So our slogan is rugged is the new smooth, and then Rugged Evolution. So I'm like, bam, that's it. So that was my mindset, but I also had to still be a student. So I graduated. I launched it August of 2017. And what I mean by launch, I started to attend like local vending shows and stuff like that, just to kind of get my feet wet, build up that clientele. As weird as it sounds, I hate public speaking. I hate it. When I had to take it in school, I hated it. I get really nervous and anxious. So I said, well, that's my biggest strength. Let me try and get better at that. So that's what it helped me to, speak with my clientele. Cause I'm like, if I don't show confidence, how do you expect to make money? Right. And, my November of 2017 launched our online retail store, and as of right now, we have online retail. We're in Walmart, Amazon, Etsy, other online retailers. We've been involved in about 6 local retailers in the Hampton Roads area. We're in a couple in the Raleigh-Durham area. We're still growing, and I think in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, December 2019, we were featured in Essence magazine, and it was a big. We had got reached out by a publisher, and they say, "Look, we would like to have your product as a part of our holiday gift guide." And I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Because I mean, for those that are unaware of what Essence magazine really, especially in the Black community, is like our People magazine, Times, you name it. It is a huge thing to be on there. And then on top of that, have you ever heard the Essence Fest in New Orleans? It's a big, huge music festival with not just music, but, workshops and X, Y, and Z. And it's really, really huge. So it was a big deal. And then on top of that, the front cover happened to have the former First Lady, Michelle Obama. So in my mind, I'm like, they're picking this up, because this was like fresh out of office, or maybe second term for Obama's year. So it was a big deal. So, that all being said, we've been very fortunate. Rugged Evolution is going on for about 7 years. We started off with just 4 products, and that was like 4 different beard balms, 4 different oils. We now have well over 100 items. We have face wash, body wash, soaps, candles, soy-based candles, over 100, 17 different scented beard oils, beard balms. We have so much, I can't even really name it, but we've been fortunate with that. And from there, I just kind of it was a start for me to invest in other stuff. Owned a couple rigs for about 5 years. So I was in the trucking industry.
You owned a couple of rigs?
Yeah. So
I'm thinking oil rigs. What?
No, trucks. Okay. big rigs.
Damn, Eric, like, way to bury the lead, man.
I'm not saying I got a lot of money, but I invested in other things, and so that was kind of like the business side of me. But I still, out of all of that I've said, because I know I've spoken a lot, man, but all that being said, I've still had the love for radio, and I wanted to do it. So 2020, I started a podcast with some friends of mine. It was around like maybe, I think 4 or 5 of us in total.
Okay.
And what we wanted to do was basically the male version of The View. In 2020, I turn on the TV. I'm like, I see The View. At the time, they had a show called The Talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that time, they also had something called The Real. They had 3 different women panel shows. And I'm like, okay, what about the fellas? Now, whenever you see a panel of men, we're talking about sports. And look, I love sports. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, we can talk about other things.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where the name of our podcast was called R Smooth Club Podcast. So like the letter R, Smooth Club Podcast, a show where everyday men discuss everyday topics.
Okay.
And
I like that.
We did that. I had it was myself. We had a panelist of different age groups and different backgrounds. So I had one of my good buddies. He was a retired Navy, and he owns a fashion clothing line. So boom, style expert right there. We had another gentleman who was 65 years old. He owned a haberdashery store, a historic store out here in the Norfolk area. He was a host. And then I had a gentleman who was into culinary. He had like a travel agency, so he was providing all that. And he was like a certified like wine tester and everything. I mean, it was awesome. And then we had one comedian. We had one guy providing the laugh. So we had a variety of different opinions and stuff. And we just brought up, topics. And that podcast lasted for, I would say, we went by seasons. We did 10 episodes a season. I'm gonna say we did 3, and then from there we kind of revamped it. And we changed it from we revamped it to a show called In Your City. So I collabed with a friend of mine who was originally a guest who hosted a digital show called In Your City. Mm-hmm. And we just merged the shows together. And we did that for maybe, I'm going to just say 18 months, because we did a little bit on radio, local radio out here, as well as local cable for about 7 episodes. So we did that, and then I'm like, okay, I've done enough. I think I'm ready to do my own thing. I was always that kid that was talking still, even though we didn't talk politics, but I want to kind of throw in a little political. And I just said, let me start, doing my own. And I honestly, I can't, I'll be lying if I tried to figure out when I started the Arrington Gavin show. All I can say is as of right now, we're at like 592 episodes of the show. It's an hour-long program, right? And a solid hour. When I originally started, it was like 20, 30 minutes, maybe once a week. And then it stretched out to 3 days a week. We're on 5 nights a week. And it's fun. It can be exhausting, but it's a lot of fun, because I don't know if your audience can tell, I like to talk. And I'm very opinionated, but I also enjoy having this show because it provides a platform for, those that have great stories that doesn't have the platform to share it on. I interview comedians, I interview entertainers, I interview pro athletes, elected officials. It's politics and pop culture, but we talk a little bit about everything, and it's fun, man. It's fun. I know that was a lot there.
I was about to say, you gave me absolutely nothing to jump off.
Good night. Good night.
One of the things that drew me to your story before I even had a chance to talk to you and realize that we were going to vibe really well was that that entrepreneurial thing. Mm-hmm. I knew that you had done 2 different things, where it was the beard care, the Rapid Evolution, and the podcast both. One of the things that you had kind of said at the beginning was that both of your parents were entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So was that something kind of pursuing your own thing, kind of was that something that was kind of ingrained in you from the beginning? Oh, for sure. Because and folks know I'm a mama's boy. My mother, she's been a real estate broker for about 30, almost 40 years. My dad, he was I'm fortunate. I would say my bonus dad, but he's also my dad as well too, because we have a blended family. Kind of your audience can catch on. But my dad is a retired firefighter. And he is also a educator as well, and he had a business. He had a cleaning business. My father, my biological father, he had he was a retired colonel in the Army, and he also had businesses on the side as well. So that being said, I was always surrounded by I would say, I don't want to say hustlers, because that sounds a little more weird. I was always, but just entrepreneurs. We always knew that
it's nothing wrong with having multiple streams of income, and it's extremely important. I mean, I think we all could could agree on, like, the pandemic year taught a lot of people just a lot of things. Of like, wow, I can't just be involved in this one thing. I have to do other things. And just even now, man, the prices are crazy. So it's just like, okay, I need other ways to make honest living. And so, yeah, it was definitely indulging me at youth. I used to always go with my mom to, her real estate appointments. I was with her when she opened. She owned a candy store for 5 years out in Virginia Beach. And so I was with her when that opened. And I literally was like a kid in the candy store, literally, because I was eating everything. It was gourmet candy. And I was just like, and so I kind of watched her behind the scenes, and that stuff really just helped me, man. I mean, my mind is literally like a radio. I'm always thinking new ideas, but I put a lot of stuff to paper because I know for sure it's like, hey, if I try to pursue it now, it's like, don't be crazy. Like, what about a Ferris wheel that flies? Yeah, let me put that down. And so I put everything to paper. Yeah. And one thing I always encourage folks is like, don't ever, if something comes up to your mind right now, put it down, but don't throw it away thinking that it's not going to work. Just because it doesn't work now doesn't mean it's not going to work in the next 5 years, because stuff always comes up to date and up to speed. We're like, man, I knew I thought about that but hey, why didn't you? So I'm always just writing some ideas and stuff. So that's kind of like how it goes for me.
All right, man. I used to be phenomenal at ideas, man. I was an ideas guy, man. I thrived on enthusiasm.
That's what I'm talking about.
But there was a problem for me between having the idea and then executing it.
Whew, yes.
So you seem like somebody who knows how to execute.
It took a lot of time for that, because you bring up a perfect point. The idea is there, but then you need licenses, you need LLCs, you need trademarks, there's so much in order to just, to start a business before it even exists. It's like, okay, I need to do all this paperwork, and it's a learning experience. I mean, again, my first business taught me a lot. It's funny because the first business I felt like was a little more smoother process. I opened up another recent business last November, which was a media workspace. Okay. And I'm like, hey, look, for mobile photographers, content creators, it's for those that are starting up. Yeah. So it's just a nice, private space. And that was like so time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this, that. And it was a lot. So I don't know everything. It's always important to be aware, ask questions, but also I want to let your audience know that don't think because all of a sudden you open a business makes you automatically rich. Because just want to let you know, you will be broke for at least the first 2 years. I just want to let you know that.
Step one, open up business.
Exactly. And it does. And you know what? And it doesn't hurt. I know a lot of folks say, I got a 3-year plan. I got a 5-year plan. It doesn't hurt to have a 7-year, because you'll be surprised. A lot of folks, they get their big breaks at a later period. I mean, a perfect example I always bring up is comedian actress Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones, she's like was on what was it, the Ghostbusters movie, the tall black actress. Yeah. She's very entertaining, but she got a big break at like 47, 50 years old, and she was already well established. That being said, y'all, stuff takes time, and you have to be patient. You never want to rush into things, because if you skip a step, then you're gonna be like, oh man, in this moment when you're scrambling, you're like, well, maybe if you would have took your time, you gotta be careful. So
I feel like you're calling me out.
I'm not calling you out.
I'm so damn impatient, man. Like, the thing is, whenever I'm like, you know what, this is what I want, and I see it, I'm like, I am not gonna stop until I am like right there. And it is, but
I don't blame it, because I'm like that too, man. I am like that, and it's the power, because I met your lovely wife, and it's the power of having, the right partner, right, the right support system to say, whoa, slow down. How much is that going to cost? Oh, it's not bad, because we're going to make this amount of money when it capitalize, right? And then it's like when the business starts, crickets, and it's been like, all right, it's the first week. All right, it's just the first 2 months. It's good. It's been 5 months. It's going to be fine. And then the year happened. Oh my gosh, what's going on? So it does take time, and you have to know, well, folks have to know too, depending on which market you're in, market and area. So like for us, we're in an area that is primarily military driven. We have a lot of, I would say it's a variety of people that are from here. I've always said, just the Hampton Roads area, I feel like follows other trends or other cities. So we either following I feel like we follow we try to follow like a Charlotte or even I'm trying to think of other cities. Like a Greenville, South Carolina. We don't quite get to like the New York side. That's a bit too up there. But even Richmond sometimes I feel like is doing a little bit better. Just sometimes I feel like in the business field, in the entertainment, I think they're a little more open with ideas than it takes longer. I mean,
what do you think that is? Like, there's something about the Hampton Roads area, I feel like.
It kills me. I'm trying to think of something with being very nice.
I was about to say without just saying racist.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even say that. Like it was. I mean, and that could definitely. Not saying that is not a fixture, but I mean, why isn't it that we have an area where you have Allen Iverson came out of here, Bruce Smith, who still holds the all-time sack record. We have
Bruce Smith is from Hampton Roads.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, man, I didn't know that.
We're good. He's actually from Norfolk.
Is he?
Yes, Booker T. Washington grad.
He was a mighty booker. Okay,
he was a mighty booker. I could tell. I'm gonna tell you some great stories. Oh my goodness. So yeah, Bruce is from the area. Oh my goodness. The Upton brothers from baseball. Verlander, I believe, is out here.
Really?
No, I think it's Verlander. I think he is. Wright. No, Wright. I'm thinking of Wright. Oh man, play with the Mets. I'm sorry. Pitcher. He's retired now.
Not Adam Wright, is it?
Not Adam Wright. I'm blanking on his name, but we have a lot of baseball players. We have a lot of Plaxico Burress, Mike Tomlin, your brother. I get it because he's black. No, okay, but
I would tell people I was related to him, and like they wouldn't get the joke.
That is hilarious. That's hilarious. But we have a lot of prominent folk. Alonzo Mourning. I mean, the list goes on and on. Why isn't that we don't have a pro team here? Not a semi-pro, not a semi-pro. I'm talking about a legit pro team. So we have a lot of, I want to kind of say like, we have a lot of corporate business owners that we have elected officials, not all of them, but we have some that like to abide by where the money leads them to. And they're going to listen to what they I mean, it's just, why is it we should not have to be saying, hey, look, we might have a pro team. Nope, not going to happen. The city doesn't want. We want to keep it more family friendly. I'm like, come on, it can still be family friendly, but make it entertaining where folks that graduate from here doesn't immediately want to move out of the area because they don't have, for one, job opportunity or just that form of fun. Like we have some good local festivals. Don't get me wrong, but I just think, as a whole, we can do a lot better. And if I look at Richmond is just an hour away. Richmond is very much up there, but we're larger than Richmond.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what it is, man. We have a lot of folks that are maybe not as like future minded of thinking, like kind of like you and me. Yeah. They don't have the right ideas. See, if they had the right ideas, person like Adam and I, then that's
Hampton Roads tourism.
There you go. Give us a call right now. Right now, we're waiting.
No, but I think what was kind of interesting with the cities that you mentioned, like Greenville, Charlotte, Richmond, all of those except for Charlotte, they don't have a sports team. But what their like area does have is like a lot of culture.
A lot of culture. They really they showcase a lot of the local talent. I think sometimes we kind of cater too much to the corporate and the franchises rather than saying, how can we continue to showcase our locals? And I mean, we have so many, how many amazing musicians we have now. Don't get me wrong. We are the area of Timbaland, Missy Elliott, Pharrell. Well, Dave Matthews, not from Hampton Roads, he's from Virginia. But I mean, that being said, we just have a lot of great musicians. Man, I've been to tons of just little local joints where I'm like, oh my gosh, why is this person that? Yeah. And they're just so talented. And sometimes it can be, not just to the artist, but it could be, a certain business sense that's like, okay, they're not grasping, like they can't just focus straight here. I mean, like Pusha T said it best. The clips, him and his brother, they have said, they gain more success outside of their area. They gain more success like in the Philly and this and that when folks thought they were from that area, not from here. And I'm like, why is that? So you're right. When it comes to culture, when it comes to that local support, I think we could do better. I think we do that. I don't think they don't at all, but I think we can be a lot better. Again, I'm a kid coming from Chesapeake,
Yeah.
so I'm from a very, very you know, red leaning, it's very family oriented,
Right.
conservative, city out of the 7 cities. Those that I think will be more cultural ahead and what I mean by culture, I don't just mean like black. I mean just in general, like
Yeah.
pop culture, everything. Norfolk is great at it. I would say. You see Newport News building up. Portsmouth is also building up. Even Hampton. But and Virginia Beach too. Virginia Beach has a lot of different, but it's a tourist city.
Virginia Beach and Chesapeake both have very similar problems in that they're so damn big. I mean,
the two biggest cities. Well, Virginia Beach is is the largest city population wise in the state of Virginia. Chesapeake is behind us, and yet we don't have any form of entertainment venues in Chesapeake. We don't have really a nightlife. They've always oriented as like the family, hey, we're gonna have good, and it's like, I mean, when I was a kid, man, I'm like, hey, when I'm hanging out with my friends, I'll meet you in Norfolk or I'll meet you at Virginia Beach. What about Chesapeake? Good luck. I mean, let me know what you find. I mean, we got the movies. That's what we got. We got the movies and we got the mall. That's that's barely holding on. So we have carnivals and the wine fest and stuff like that, which is fine, but not everything can be outside. So make a long story short, I think we have a lot of progress we need to do. I think they need to listen to the community at the end of the day. I do a lot of work in the community because I run a nonprofit. So I work a lot in like South Norfolk and just in general, just around the city. And I get to speak with, folks that have lived in the area for years and that have great history. When it was like, hey, look, I remember where this place at now used to be a drive-in movie theater. Yeah. And I'm like, really? And it's just, I enjoy it because being an only child, I was always like, hugged up to my grandmother or listening, listening to my great uncles. And it's all about wisdom. You learn a lot from your elders. And sometimes I could just sit back and just like listen. I'm like, okay. And I enjoy listening to the history because like I love conversation and we have a lot of history within the area. So I enjoy it.
How have you seen the Hampton Roads area kind of evolve, like over your lifetime?
I've seen some good and bad, I guess. Obviously the first thing I could think of is when it comes to retail, we were witnessing malls close down. I mean, I remember when Military Circle Mall was very popular. When I was in high school, we used to always go there because the movie theater was very cheap. So we it's cheap compared to like MacArthur Mall. But I remember when that mall was alive and well, and it's now a ghost town. I remember when MacArthur Mall used to have a indoor like arcade called Jeepers, and my dad used to take me to Jeepers a lot, and that was like on the second floor. That was fun out. Jeepers, food court was really good, and then the movies. I mean, it was perfect, and really MacArthur Mall was the stuff. That was a beautiful, beautiful mall. I've seen great stuff. I think for me, the biggest thing that will always be a highlight was when the very first Something in the Water happened, because that was my first music festival.
What is Something in the Water? Like I've only seen it just in papers. I've never.
Something in the Water was a music festival that was started by Pharrell Williams. Pharrell Williams is a Virginia Beach native, born and raised, and he started a music festival, and it was reported to be considered like the Black Coachella, but it wasn't the Black. It was definitely a Coachella vibes, but I would consider it the Black Coachella. But it was extremely, extremely popular. He had workshops. The first year was just truly dope. It was held at the oceanfront, but on the water. And so the oceanfront, Virginia Beach oceanfront, has a big boardwalk that goes miles, and each section of the oceanfront had like different things. There was a workshop with like I can't always get his name except Deepak Chopra and Van Jones. They did a like a workshop sit down convo there. Gayle King interviewed, Pharrell took him around the oceanfront. I mean, it was beautiful. We had saw performers that we didn't think will ever come to Hampton Roads because of the capacity. Like, we have the Norfolk Scope, which is fairly solid size, and then you have the Hampton Coliseum. And then I'll include like I still call it the Ted Concert Center. It's called the Chartway Arena over at Old Dominion. And it was a big big venue, and we had performers like, Jay-Z surprised us. Who thought Jay-Z came out? Oh man, it was a 3-day thing. It was a 3-day festival. The first day actually got rained out, but the last 2 days was amazing. And we even got all of our, refunds for that one day that got rained out. But we saw like over 50 performers, and it was just great. Missy Elliott performed, Timbaland. I mentioned Jay-Z, Usher, Snoop Dogg. Sean Combs performed. Busta Rhymes. You had
Dude, he's probably about to be out and like get the Presidential Medal of Freedom for too much longer, man.
That is hilarious. That is very true though. He's definitely gonna be great man. It's like,
you got a pretty.
Let me shake your hand. Little oily there. Wow. Very oily. Very oily. I'm sorry. I can't. When I start, I can't stop. I'm sorry. But it was just a great time for for the locals. It was great for local businesses because local businesses was like, I wish we had this every day. We made so much money. The hotels, everybody made a lot of money. Everybody was happy. Initially, I would say, and we all kind of, locals saw it, but I think some councils, some locals were going to say, oh, this is going to be a bad idea. It's going to, cause so much crime, this and the other. It was the safest, not a scratch, because people wanted this.
Right.
The following 2 days, there was some local stuff happening. Oh, then crime happens. So it's like, what's going on here? So but Something in the Water was a music festival. He did it 3 times. He did it once here. Then the following year, I want to say was the COVID year. It might have been the pandemic year. And then the year after that, he actually brought it to DC because there was some tension with council and the community that he wasn't happy with. And then also he lost his cousin who was gunned down at the Oceanfront, Donovan Lynch, and who I actually knew very, very well. Our families go way back. And he, Pharrell was just at a bad place, and he took it to DC. People attended, but it still wasn't as popular. And then he brought it back to Virginia, and this time had a two-stage function, and it was great. You had loads of different performers, and from hip hop, rock, reggae. It was a variety of different performers, and I think my wife said some of her favorite ones was Jonas Brothers came. She loves Jonas Brothers, and so I think she saw him twice or something.
Super wide ranging,
and it was on the beach. It was the stage was on the beach, then it was overlooking the water, and it was something in the water, and it was very historical, man. That I think that was for me a big period. And now we see in Hampton Roads we got casinos the big thing.
That pisses me off, man. I love going to Harbor Park, watching the Tides play. And every time we go, I'll get up in the upper deck because I like looking out and seeing that view of the ships and Elizabeth River.
Say goodbye to that view.
Yeah, and now we got Rivers Casino I can look at, man. I don't want that.
Well, and I was talking with a friend of mine, I think I want to say it was it might have been a guest that's running for office, and he has shared, it's sad that cities have to always rely on casinos as the big money, generator thing. And it's don't get me wrong, being a business owner, I do want to see certain growth, and Rivers has an entertainment side where you get concerts, comedians, all that great stuff. But I do understand the perspective of hey, look, casinos are also not that good because you have people that I've been in Rosie's, which is a gaming casino. I've been in there and I've seen people looking like they're spending their last of their Social Security, and it does break your heart. And so I understand where the debate comes from. Yeah. Should we have this? Should we not have this? Back and forth. But
where do you land on that?
Where do I land on it?
Yeah.
And I don't want to. I really don't want to. I really don't want to say 50-50 because I feel like that's sometimes cop out. Even though I like to say
there's a moral answer and a political answer to me.
Yes. I say this. We have, if it's a matter on people getting addicted and it's not being a good example for the community, I can name way other things that's the only thing that I can really bring up at the top of the, because we have bars, we have a ton of vape shops, a ton, looking at each other on the same street, and there's so many other things I could think of. I would say if money does go back into the community and it says, okay, look, the profit that we make from here can help put up this, if it's providing a lot of jobs as well, I'm not totally against it. So in that case, I'm like saying, hey, if they voted on it, go ahead. But I've had the same conversation with my friends. We've had the back and forth because I have friends and family that was like, I'm not for all this doing it, and I don't disagree. That's the hard part. It's really like a hard side to choose. But being a business owner, I can't lie and say, hey, look, bringing in more people to the area as far as just visitors. 'Cause I mean, where they're building the one in Norfolk is like right by the Amtrak, excuse me. And so you got folks coming on the Amtrak, boom, head there. And then you said the baseball field, Harbor Park, where the Norfolk Tigers play at. I mean, the image of it looks great. And so if that's the kind of growth they want to see in the area, I'm like, I'm not mad at it because, if it's not that, what's going to be the next big thing coming to Norfolk? We're losing the mall, which I still can't believe. We got so much. We have so much stuff happening here, but yeah, I would say I'm leaning more in favor of having them, but I wouldn't say I'm going to be like on the street store saying, I love this. This is great. This is great. I'm not like, because I truly respect and I understand the reasons why it could be not in favor of it as well. And I will say this, because I won't say this coming from the casinos, but just in general, I don't know if you noticed, we have a lot of luxury apartments being built. That I absolutely hate because these luxury apartments are for folks that are making $200,000 plus easy on at the minimum. And what it does is they're pushing folks, pushing affordable housing away and then push them from city to city because every city is doing the same thing. So in a sense, I can say, well, because of the start of this casino, it can maybe be a reason. I will also throw out there too, Norfolk State University, which is right across the street from it, they've actually started a gaming program at their university. So again, I go back to there's pluses and there's back and forth with it. There's back and forth.
So I have only been to a casino one time. I went to Biloxi for a bachelor party.
Okay.
Back in like 2010.
Did you win big? No.
Oh God, no. Dude, I had $200 to my name and I lost it in like 20 minutes.
See, and you know what's funny, Adam? I'm actually I don't gamble either, and I love Las Vegas, which is people are like, wait, you don't gamble, but you love. I love Las Vegas. I love cities that never always
like the energy.
I love the energy. I love the fact that I can go from place to place. Something's always open. There's always some fun happening. I think I've played the slots once. I put in $5 and I won like 60. I was done. I felt like a rich man right there. Yeah. I'm like, that's it. Like I rarely even do the lottery. Like the only time I've done it is when it gets to these like crazy record prices. I'm like, hey, why not? I mean, hey, let me just get one. But yeah, it's tough because I understand there's people that can't turn that off.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate because it is a drug. Like it's very addictive.
You said it yourself. You won that just like $60 or whatever, and felt like I
had to cut it off. I had to cut it off because for one, I don't like. If I would have lost my $5, I would have been pissed that whole time. So, I had to just say, you know what? I'm a winner. I'm a winner right here. Drinks on me. How much? Okay, let me just get some ice. Let me just get some ice.
Wait, drinks are on the house, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, drinks on me. Yeah. But only every 20 minutes for some reason.
Yeah, man. I've like I said, I've been to Caesars. I've been to Caesars, and I love Las Vegas. I really do. Don't go in June. I will just say that.
Okay.
Because it was 114 degrees, and that was the first time I witnessed. No, couldn't do it. But it's I enjoy it now. And then on top of that, my program is actually it airs out in a station out in Las Vegas. Yeah, KSHP. So I have great contacts and great connections now out there. So my wife and I, we're hoping to make some plans and visit Vegas and meet some of the staff at the station and all that good stuff. So
yeah, so like I'd lost that $200 and I got super drunk and started wandering the streets of Biloxi. And bless my heart, I got lost. Yeah. All I knew was that my hotel was right next to a pawn shop.
Okay.
I was like, all right, so if I find the pawn shop, I'm going to be able to find the hotel.
I feel like I'm talking in the mirror because I've had moments just like that too. Don't judge us. Don't judge us.
I walk, I see a pawn shop. I'm like, nope, my hotel isn't there. And I'll walk, I see another pawn shop. Nope. There were so many different pawn shops around. And about the fourth or the fifth one, it hit me why there were so many.
Why are there so many pawn shops?
Yeah.
Who does that? And it's the same name, the same color. You guys are going to get people confused. Just going to let you know.
It bumped me out, because then I realized, like what you were saying, like the guy has the wedding band to the left, and he's like, well, I need to go pawn that real quick so I can go back to the casino.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. Yeah, man. We like I told folks, it's like looking in the mirror because I've definitely had some moments where I've lost things, and I've after a good night of partying, and but I mean, hey, it's the stories that you love those stories. That's all that matters. You're here, it's a great story.
yeah, exactly. So I'm with you. Like morally speaking, I don't love it.
Yeah, I understand.
But on the political side, I do not believe in legislating morality. It's not going to pan out.
No, not at all.
If we have the vape shops, if we have the bars, we have to have the casinos. And
that kind of goes back to the earlier we were talking about why is it that other cities do a lot better or do better than us? I mean, again, it's little things like if I'm on one street and I see 4 different vape shops literally looking at each other, I'm like, okay, what's and it just in my mind I'm like, who thought this would be a smart idea to do, and what's the messaging behind it? Now, look, I
think the FBI had your same idea and decided to raid a couple of shops, man.
Come on now, come on. It's oh my gosh, that's another hilarious story right there. I actually ran into her.
Did you?
I was at a function and she was talking about that. I was kind of playing a fly on the wall, like listening, because she's very, very vocal.
Senator Louise Lucas.
Yes. Pro tempore, who was a pioneer in really, I want to say one of the most powerful women in the state. She's been a state senator since I want to say 91. Was the first African American woman elected as a councilwoman in the city of Portsmouth, and now her daughter's running for re-election. Well, she's running to get back on council because she ran for mayor and lost. So, she's Louise Lucas is very powerful. She's also a lady who also helped launch the redistricting thing, which didn't pan out the way they wanted it to. It's kind of back and forth. And that's another thing why I love talking about politics, because I feel as though that, for one, with me having an hour to really just vent, and that's all I'm doing. I always tell my audience, man, please take my stuff with a grain of salt. Don't take my stuff to the bank. I'm just speaking my honest opinion, but I bring on experts and stuff so they can expand it a little more. Say, hey, if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's a lot happening.
What was Senator Lucas saying?
I was at a forum. It was a political forum somewhere at the Slover, and she was one of the speakers. I think the title of it was Inside Politics, and it was for local business owners to just be aware of any new ways that can help benefit them, whether it's grants or programs or just issues in general that's coming from Washington that's affecting the area. And the event was over, and I was just talking with her and her daughter for a little bit, and she had spoke with a reporter from, I believe, the Pilot, and she was just saying how this whole entire thing was political. And what I mean by that, for those who haven't checked out on the news, so her office in Portsmouth was raided by the FBI, as well as one of her businesses in the area was raided. And Louise Lucas was her and House Speaker Don Scott was like the leaders that started the redistricting in Virginia. Now, I've been very vocal on my show, the Arrington Gavin show, by the way. I just want to put that plug in.
There'll be several plugs later.
There'll be several plugs. Okay,
I was going to work it in organically, man. Come on.
But they had started the redistricting. So we currently have a congressional maps of six Democrats, 5 Republicans. And due to the issues happening in Washington, you have an administration and a president that's reaching out to, specifically the red states, the states that favor him. They're saying, look, I need more seats because
I'm entitled
for more seats. Thank you so much for reminding me that. I'm entitled for more seats, so make it happen, basically. So Texas did it. North Carolina, I believe North Carolina also started redistricting. Missouri, Florida's doing it now. Louisiana's doing it, and then in Alabama and Tennessee. I mean, first of all, F those in Tennessee legislature, because you have an 8-1 and they changed it to a 9-0. Like it's just anyway. with the redistricting, and so we have a cycle. We have a census cycle. Every 10 years, the congressional maps changes. So really, our maps would change in 2030. They decided to do it mid-season here in Virginia. They decided to do a change in maps, and Luis and Don was like, we're doing 10-1. That's what we're going to do. And so I was very honest on my show. For one, I hate gerrymandering in general because I feel as though it takes power out of the voters. My word of the year is transparency. You have to be transparent and honest with your voters. The reason why we continue to have a low voting turnout is because there's no trust between, elected officials and the communities. Now, it's hard because I know great elected officials that are doing the right thing. And it's sad because you do have such thing as, the establishment, right? You have those that have their own personal agendas, and then you have those that are truly there for their community, and this is why they're in this position. Because let's be honest, being a politician is not a sexy job. Like, it's the worst. It's the most stressful job ever.
I was going to say, doing the right thing is not incentivized.
It's not, man. It's not. And so when I heard that it was moving to a 10-1, I thought it was a bad idea. The reason why is because I thought a 10-1 was it was a stretch. Okay. I understood the reason to do the redistricting for one. And I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because I want to say bashing, but I've been very critical of the Democrats, especially after the presidential election, saying that you have to fight fire with fire. This is a prime example of fighting fire with fire, is doing this redistricting. So when I heard 10-1, I was like, now, if you would have said 8-3, maybe I would have said that's a little more, touchy. But like 10-1, I thought was a bit more. It was a little too much because if you're promoting fair elections, and I'm like, well, for somebody that's not too familiar with how it goes, to them they're like, well, 6-5 is fair, and you got the majority by one seat. Yeah. So what are you talking about? So
I was about to say, I'm about to be a Bill Clinton. It depends on what your definition of fair is. Like it's
and that's it was very hard when that when I knew it was going to be a hard campaign for them, but at the end of the day, when it comes to redistricting, it's always going to be on, okay, whoever side is in power, the opposing side is going to have tension. Trust and believe, if it was the other way around, they would, the Republicans would be like, oh, this is a great thing to do, yada, yada, yada. And so it's back and forth. So we had to be stuck in the whole, campaign of the vote yes or vote no. I literally made a post on social media saying, hey, look, I feel like I'm collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards here. I got about 5, and all of them, I had 8 different mailers. All of them were different. I might have like 6 no's and 7 yeses. That was
really?
Yes.
The area of Chesapeake, you live in Chesapeake, right? The area that you live in, like, how did your precinct vote in the referendum?
So Chesapeake alone, I know as far as for the city overall, the city, I want to say we either voted. Oh man, don't get me lying. I really want to say
Arrington is on the record here, and he is guaranteeing these numbers. So
I want to say it was like 49, no, maybe 50. Yeah, like it was extremely close, and it could have been backwards. Chesapeake and Virginia Beach was more in favor in no. So I'll just say it was 49 yes, 50 no. I'll say it like that. And same goes for Virginia Beach. Now, like I said, if I'm wrong, I know my buddy, shout out to Dr. Eric Lavelle. He's a guy I have on my show a lot. He's a political and legal analyst. He's gonna be like, well, was that other way around? But I'll just say Chesapeake and Virginia Beach was more in favor for the no. Portsmouth, Norfolk, Hampton, Newport News, even Suffolk were more for yeses. But yeah, Chesapeake was definitely more in favor for no's. And again, Chesapeake, we have because I'm in the 2nd congressional district, so I have Jen Kiggins as my rep. I gotta take a swing after that one.
Have you met
Ditto.
Before?
You said, yes, many times.
What do you?
So when I meet elected officials in person, I
did you like that question, by the way? Though, what do you?
I enjoy that. What are you thinking about? Honestly, in person, she, hey, she's nice to me. She's never disrespectful. I met her twice. I met her the first time I met her was she was a state senator running for the 2nd congressional district. Second time I met her was at a function not too long ago, and got a picture with her and everything. And I got some heat from some of my friends, especially because one thing being an independent, I have friends from all sides of the aisle, and I love having it because like I'm more I won't say I'm easy to have the conversation, but I've always respect, other folks' opinion and stuff. But one of my friends who's much older and wiser was like, "How could you? That's very Tim Scottish." And we had our back and forth. And I said, "Look, at the end of the day, I'm like, an elected official is elected official. I'm always going to respect the position for one. Two, being a business owner, I don't want to be that person be like, oh, how could you, this and that and the other. Because I do still show a form of respect. And it's not like the lady said, let me skip him and let me move on to the, she allowed me to have a picture. I'm like, she is an elected official. That's just in my position. I'm always gonna, give respect to folks like that. Doesn't mean I have to like her politics. I mean, I'm like because I don't. I'm not in favor for her. I'd never support her. She supports an individual who I think has really, really effed up the country, and just really made it a very divisive place. And I could talk hours on the guy, but
opposite of diverse. So.
I mean, it's just he is. Yeah, that's all I can say about him. But that being said, to answer your question, yes, I met her a few times, and yeah, I've had a picture with her twice. But the same day, the same exact event, I had a picture with her opponent as well. So I mean, again, I'm friends with. I always say I'm friends with everybody. Well, I'm not her friend, but I'm cordial. So I'm never gonna be kind of like antsy with her. Now that being said, if another individual by the name of Donald Trump, hell no, I could not, would not, would never. So that being said, I think she is she's a typical politician. I think, taking pictures with people, I think that's a political thing for her to do.
Anything is political. Like you coming here and talking to me.
Really, politics is everywhere. Politics is everywhere. And I always tell, my listeners that, like, you have to realize, I understand, like, politics is not fun. And it's, again, I go back to the word, it's not, it's not an attractive thing, but you can't run away from it because it's a part of everyday life. You're a taxpayer, buying groceries, pumping gas. Politics is in everything. The schools you go to, it's everywhere. The church you attend, right? Or any religion that you represent. I mean, everything is political. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. She aight. She aight.
So political psychology, freaking fascinating. So I'm kind of curious. You said that you got about the same number of vote yes flyers as you did vote no flyers for the referendum.
It was a stretch. It was a stretch. It was a stretch. But I would say we were definitely probably. Oh, you talking about mails? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had the exact same. Yes,
mailers,
absolutely.
Okay, so what did the yes flyers? Who did they show anybody?
Oh yeah.
And what did they say versus the no flyers?
So the yes flyers, and I hope I can still post. I should have it on my social media. I can show it to you later. The yes flyers had messages from everyday people, and maybe threw in a couple of prolific figures saying this is why you should do it. Vote yes, X, Y, and Z. Now the no's was always reframing the words of those prolific figures, saying, well, look, in the back they said they're not for gerrymandering, which for the most part I'm not gonna say is a lie, because most politicians will say they don't agree with it, but it's all about what about right now? They could have said it 6, 7, 8 years ago, but what is the motive now why they're doing it? Then I received, of course, the very viral Jim Crow vote no, which I actually had the guest who was behind that on my show.
Did you really?
I sure did. I know him personally.
What's it? Where is he, a friend?
I mean, I don't know if we grab beers together, but we're always very, very cool. Every time he's very respectful, and I've had him on twice. So, I mean, I'll say, buddy, we've had respectful conversations.
What's it like having a conversation though
with somebody total opposite?
Right, because I'll talk to you. I had to talk to you about it off camera. I had one just the other day where we went south side.
You know what, and it's funny because. So, earlier in the conversation, I mentioned I was a private school kid all my life. Majority of my upbringing, I was surrounded by, political views that probably did not agree at all. And I was raised in I'll say conservative Democratic household. So your Wilder Democrats, right? I won't even say you're Joe Manchin Democrats, but sure, your old
your Blue Dog?
Your Blue Dog Democrats. There you go. And so, that being said,
just alienated all the Gen Z audience there.
I mean, hey, look, that's all I was raised. But then, for me, I just said, well, I know that in order for America to work, you can't have, in my opinion, you can't have one party for the most part to run the whole thing. You have to have unity. You have to, if I'm playing sports, I'm going to have people from all different backgrounds. If I'm trying to build something, I got to have people from all different spaces. So I've always been a middle individual, from the get go, when I started voting as well too. That being said, having conversations with people that don't agree with me, I mean, as corny as it sounds, I treat it just like, hey, if I'm talking, I'm a Knicks fan. If I'm talking with a friend of mine that's a Celtics fan, I mean, I know we're gonna disagree a lot, but at the end of the day, okay, what is the outcome? Are we trying to see the same outcome, and we just have a different pathway of trying to get there? But there is a point where, okay, where's the humility too? If you don't have humility, I'm sorry, I'm gonna look at you funny. I'm gonna be respectful because I'm not a controversial kind of person. Like, I'm gonna be bashing at you back and forth, but I'm gonna come with receipts. I'm gonna, speak my mind. And again, if it comes from a place of hate and not, love, then I'm sorry, I can't talk to you. So that being said, when I talk with a lot of conservative people, even people that voted for Trump on my show, you kind of know a Trump voter's mindset these years now. And then on top of that, coming from when I meet with conservative elected officials that are also, because there's a number of them that I've had on that is anti-Trumpers, but there's still Republicans. But to me, I appreciate those that are very vocal. Like, okay, so recently they had a primary in Louisiana and Kentucky. So you had Bill Cassidy, who's a longtime senator in Louisiana, Republican, who was vocal. He was a critic of Trump. Likewise, Thomas Massey, a representative out of Kentucky, a critic of Trump, due to the fact that he stood up to the leader, but was making sure he was doing his job on looking out for the people. They lost their jobs. Now, what kind of message does that send, overall, right? Even if you're a Democratic voter, independent voter, or Republican, what overall message does that sound? To me, it sounds like somebody's trying to revamp or rebuild the GOP over fear. And it's like, that's not the world I want to live in, right? So I've always, I have a slight shield, but I also I'm listening. I want to listen more to be like, okay, I got to try and find some way to get in your head to be like, okay, is this where it's coming from? Oh, there it's coming from. Okay, guns or this or that. So that's kind of how the conversation, I just let them talk. I just let them talk. Rub their belly and make them happy and all that good stuff.
That's just the exact opposite, man. I constantly interrupt, try to really throw them off their game.
And that's the thing, like, and it's not a bad thing that you interrupt because that's passion, right? For me, it's just I want to listen. I want to hear your side because you at the end of the day, somebody that's just a strong supporter of the guy or just in general his views, they're gonna sound like a broken record and repeat everything. Yeah. It starts to sound like a pre-made speech, like they had the talking points, ahead of time and said, okay, so when how was your day today? I'm the greatest and this is that and I made the billions and trillions of dollars. Okay, so what right do you take? By the way, it's like we're not even answer. Like, it's comical. Really, it's from the media to the medias that kiss up to him, from elected officials, it's all comical. And I don't know if your audience noticed, but they're going to start seeing a lot of people resigning or getting fired, and it's not even the year's not over yet. So
whenever you're talking, so this is really interesting. You talk to MAGA, and you also talk to
I talk to everybody.
Elizabeth Dempsey Beggs, who Democratic Socialist.
Yep.
Whenever you're talking, what's the biggest difference between speaking with somebody like a MAGA versus somebody?
I would say on the leaning side of, say, like somebody like Elizabeth Dempsey Beggs. Well, it all depends because Elizabeth is extremely intelligent. She's reading from stats, and it's actually because the conversation we had I had on my show not too long ago, we had a disagreement, but I didn't kind of counter or anything because I had told her that I personally am not on the fence of absolutely no billionaires need to exist in the world. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't. And she's like, I am, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then in my mind, I'm like, I'm forgetting who I know I'm talking with.
I thought you handled that really
well. Because it wasn't my place to say, okay, now I'm gonna make it prove my point. No, I'm giving her an opportunity to share exactly why folks should vote for her, and I want to hear her platform. But someone like her, I would say it's almost easy. Not to say I agree with for the most part. I mean, I lean towards her direction more, especially in this period. But I think where she's coming from is really helping those in need, and so it was already like very, very comfortable. Sometimes when I have a conservative on, it gets a little annoying because for me, the marketing strategy to be a conservative candidate is faith, family, football, or God is everything. And it sucks because look, I'm a Christian myself. Now I ain't gonna say I'm the best Christian. I ain't the Bible thumper, right? I got a mouth on me. But I just hate that they use that religion as like the marketing tool. Like this is it, because I mean it's insane. I'm like, we live in a free world, so where's the free at? You need to be open to all religions and be respectful, and just saying, oh, God is just God, and then the same person saying, oh, God, this is everything, turn out to be some swingers or something. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, hello, Jerry Falwell Jr., but I'm just saying, like, there's so many issues that happen. So I think sometimes there's some Republican candidates that can be a little too fakish. Now, don't get me wrong, I have interviewed some Democrats that just were like, oh my gosh, get over with it. But I think in this new age, especially on the I've interviewed a lot of congressional candidates, and they're young, they're fired up, they're one thing I know, folks, that if they checked out the show, I'm not ageist, but I am not a fan of people who are in their 80s running for re-election. Because the reason why I don't like is because you're not helping your case on trying to bring in more young people to be involved in young voters. You have to be relatable. And when I see somebody getting wheelchaired into, in a meeting, or, I mean, God rest his soul, but there was a congressman that recently passed out of Georgia, who was 80, I believe, and he was in the process of running for re-election. Like, he already signed his papers, and when they showed him signing his papers, turning in, he was in a wheelchair and looked like he was. I'm like, this is not okay. And I've just
Thad Cochran in Mississippi, who was like in a retirement care facility.
Man, it's everybody, and I guess sometimes I can't say I know exactly if it's majority of them are Democrats or majority of them are Republican, but I would just say in the limelight, right? I see mostly older folks on the left side. So like James Clyburn, which, don't get me wrong, their minds are probably still very sharp, but I just think that, okay, Maxine Waters, someone on the comments went ham on me. I won't say ham, because I mean, they just voiced their opinion. I told him, I'm like, look, she's 87 years old. She's been in office since, 91, because maybe a little longer than that. She's been in office maybe in the late 80s.
I was going to say
in that position
Moses.
Since Moses, yes, and what she is saying is like, it's all about who is the experience and this and that. They don't focus on the age, which I'm not saying you should, but if you said you did this, why can't you say, okay, look, all my experience throughout the years, I can help guide somebody who I know is ready for it, and I can give I can share my supporters with them. I can share my words of wisdom, my help. It does, like, enjoy life. Like, don't try and say, okay, I'm 100 now, I'm running for re-election, I think I'm ready for one. Like, no, it's not. It's just, that's not the way it should work. And that's why I always kind of sound a little ageist, because I'm like, I'm sorry, they need to sit down somewhere and just enjoy life. Binge watch a good TV show or something. Soaps are still going on. Like, watch a good soap opera. I don't know, but I love speaking with the new age elected officials that are very passionate and saying, look, I know I'm fighting against the higher ups that's going to be putting out a lot of money, because elections cost money. But it's, and I don't even know if I even answered your question. See, that's one thing, y'all. You're gonna know. I'm always off the rail. I'm a long-winded guy.
I don't know if you answered it or not, but that answer was really good, and I enjoyed it. And I've already got like several jumping off points. Like, I was like, I have no idea when we started, but like, I could talk to you for hours.
But it is a difference. I think the question was, is there kind of like a slight difference? Absolutely. One tries to come across as so polished and like, I'm so perfect. The other side comes from this is why I'm qualified, but also the issues that needs to be said. So, not saying I show favoritism to one or the other, but that's just what I have noticed lately is the fact that, okay, you have more, open-minded folks, and then you have some folks that try to they put on like a fake facade. It's kind of regardless of the age, they can be very young and they're just like, why are you sounding like a robot-ish a little bit? So
that gets me. I can't do the fake thing.
I can't do it either.
If you're like looking like too polished or something, it turns me away, and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna give you that.
Now we'll say on the left what kind of gets annoying is that you have some that really speaks substance to like exactly what they're running on, and then I get some that just gives me a headline or gives me hey, affordability, or do you see what's going on in Washington? Do you see I get it, hey, Trump caused a lot of hell, but okay, really come to my level. What exactly are you here doing? What's the plans? Don't just say, well, my community saw this heartache. I get it. We're seeing the same thing. So it's just sometimes they can skip around too and kind of really hit the hearts of people because they just say, well, look how bad it's getting. Look how I'm like, but that's also politics too. People are always trying to, really rally in and gather the viewers to them and be like, okay, but now I got them. So, it happens on both sides, really.
Whenever you were talking about the candidates who have been there for so long, they're in their 80s and so, to me, what that kind of speaks to is sort of this like, almost like an inherent like flaw in the system where you have got to have a bit of ego in you to run for office.
A bit? Oh, you have to. You have to have. I mean,
far more than trying to host a podcast.
Man, absolutely. You have to. You have to have just that bit of ego and that that form of like I know it all kind of thing. So I'm ready for it. It's just it is funny because I've been reached out from a few just on folks on the local levels. They say, when are you running? I'm like, let me start running on a treadmill first. I'm never running. What are you talking about? It's not my calling. I don't I like being a behind the scenes. I like being the position where I'm at now, where I can like say, hey, look, I'm gonna have the platform where if you want to let your hair hang a little bit, be freely. Of course, when the show grows, I would love to have somewhat of a not setup, but kind of like a format of like a Rogan, just minus the extra 6 hours that he wants to do a freaking podcast. But I want them to feel comfortable because I don't want them to be like, hey, I always have to come with a tie and just sit back. Like, no, get comfortable, talk with us so you can be more relatable, because that's going to help for my audience to say, okay, provide a guide to get them more involved in some of the issues happening, not just in Washington, not just in the, on the state level, but also in their own backyards.
It seems like you were just thriving, man. Like you got the company and the podcast. Like would you say that you're kind of like living your American dream, so to speak?
I am, and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, in 2028, Adam Tomlin will be running for, and I'm gonna be helping him out now. No, but I would say, I'm definitely just, I'm. It's still the beginning, very much so. It's still the beginning. I have a lot more, ideas to do. I have a lot more ideas for the show, man. Because
any involve a co-host?
Hey, all I'm saying is, you never know what the future holds.
There's been some magic here today.
We're gonna be talking. We're gonna be talking, y'all. We gotta be talking for real, because at the end of the day, that's something that's always helped me just in life and as a business owner is relationships and networking. And that's what's helped me with with my show. I get people to feel comfortable, and then they refer, and it's just it benefits. Even though sometimes it can be painful talking with some people that you don't agree with, but it does benefit at the long run. So I would say yes, I'm definitely very fortunate living my dream. Obviously, I have some more things to do, but I'm my health is good. I have a wonderful wife, and we have a wonderful small dog named Carter Cavachon, and great support system and family, and just great community. Doing a lot of stuff as much as we can in the community, and hey, I can't complain. I can't complain at all. And I'm on the freaking Act Out podcast with Adam Tomlin. I mean, come on. I'm pretty sure I can, I can retire now.
Let's clip that.
Let's clip it right now. Subscribe, follow, all that great stuff, man. It's a wonderful podcast. And I'm just thrilled the fact that I'm honored to be one of your guests here, man.
Thank you very much, man. And dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's been really cool, dude. Where can folks find you?
Folks can find me on Instagram at the Arrington Gavin Show. So that's ARRINGTON Gavin Show on Instagram. Check out our website, the AG Show, A as an apple, G as in George, show.com. You can also tune into new episodes of the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights on YouTube, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as well as wherever you get your podcasts. We're available on all major podcast platforms. And if you happen to be in these cities that I'm about to name now, if you happen to be in Las Vegas, okay, Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. New Orleans, we're on WBOK 12:30 a.m. weeknights at 7 p.m. Central. And then the Metro Atlanta area, WDJY 99.1 FM, we're on weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the goal is to get on more platforms as well. We're also in, we have a kind of a partnership with a local independent TV network called Goatverse TV. So you can download it. It's free also on your mobile app, mobile app for Androids, iPhones, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. It's a great network filled with so many just local content creators. I'm kind of like their political pop culture, guy for the channel. We're working on doing some specials, maybe some sit down Q&A sessions in front of maybe 15, 10 people, something like that, with some elected officials. We're working on some stuff because, again, we want to continue to change the narrative. We want to bring in those young people to get more involved, having a better understanding of the importance of not just voting, but why you should be aware of what's going on in your backyard, because knowledge is power. So we just want to help, bring in the groups, and hopefully we can, help and keep doing great stuff on our show, man.
Well, the changing narratives, I am all for, man. So you got an ally in me.
Hey, I appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for having me, Adam. And like I said, folks, I said all my stuff. You better be supporting and following on all social media platforms. Subscribe to it. This is a great program. And I can't wait to see all the great stuff happening with Adam Tomlin. And like you said, man, you might see us, again. You never know. You never know.
Arrington, thank you for acting out with me.
Oh, absolutely, my friend.